My name's Hywel Morgan and I farm here at Esgairllaethdy, the western edge of the Brycheiniog National Park. Esgairllaethdy is a 156 acre upland and hill beef and sheep farm with common land grazing rights on the adjoining common. I've been a nature friendly farmer here for about 4 years. We used to be pretty much a revved up farming family here, using a lot of fertiliser, feed, reseeding, buying a lot of seeds, spraying off with Roundup. I decided that this is wrong, it's not sustainable for my business, and we made a transition to a low input and a more profitable, sustainable farming system here. Around 5 years ago, I couldn't see the value we're having out of the fertiliser. It was quite high then, even though it's a lot higher now. So we started just using fertiliser on half a field and doing some trials and see if we were having a full benefit and full use of these fertiliser. And I didn't really see any benefit of it, but over a period of 3 years, we are gaining pretty much a bale a year extra, and we're pretty much back to where we are before we cut back on fertiliser. A couple of reasons why I changed to working with nature rather than against it, because I think we need to be most sustainable as farmers, look after the environment, nature, climate, but not waste our hard-earned money on other external companies sort of thing. So try and keep this money on farm, but it's important we work with nature and look after what we have. We'll never beat nature, so let's not kid ourselves and just work with it. So we've cut back on glyphosate and chemical usage, yeah? So we used to spray off around 10 acres a year and plant Swedes or turnips, and for the winter crop to feed the sheep over winter. So rather than doing that, we'll conserve grass now and just graze sheep on conserve grazing in that key time just prior to lambing. Since we cut back on fertiliser, I've noticed that my soil testing results have improved. And initially I thought, well, what was going on here? But I soon realised that the acid in the fertiliser was draining the pH in my soils. And all of a sudden I've got better pH levels by doing nothing but just by cutbacks. My soil organic matter is rising, soil carbon is rising, and I think it's important that on farms we do improve the soil carbon. The transition itself doesn't happen overnight. It probably takes 3 to 4 years to do it, to get back to where we are now. But in our process, we've ploughed and seeded with herbal A's, which is a bit of a game changer. A lot of these herbs are unfermentic, so I've cut back on my animal health bill. Sheep will get wormed once a year. I do fecal egg counting. Cattle get nothing at all, no worming, no porons at all. And yeah, that helps me be more sustainable, more profitable. So the other benefits of herbal A's and a diverse seed mix is, as we've seen this year with quite a dry weather, we've been in a drought. It doesn't look like it today, obviously, but they got more resistance to the dry weather, and with a longer taproot, which they go looking for minerals, looking for water, and they're also to help with water runoff and management over the winter or the wettest parts of the season, which is key going forward. We were up to about 560 sheep, now we're around 400 sheep, and we've increased the cattle, gone from about 10-12 sucklers to now we're close to 40 sucklers, and I feel like increasing the cattle has helped here at Esgairllaethdy because I'm creating the muck for the fertiliser, and instead of rather buying fertiliser in a bag, that cow muck composted down is now my new fertiliser. And by reducing sheep numbers, it's helped with grass growth, especially in springtime when it's quite tight here. Part of the transition was changing the cattle from continental breeds like the Limousin Charolais and the Belgian Blues to a native breed animal. In order to get cattle back on the hills here, we initially tried with just turning them up, but hefting them was a challenge. So I invested in technology, and now we're using the no-fence technology, virtual fencing. It means I can graze them where I want, manage them as and when I need to. Collars I put on the cattle and it works off a GPS system. I can set up a virtual fence and they'll get an audible warning when they come close to that virtual fence. And if they get really close to it, they'll get a sharp shock, which is quite friendly, but it does manage to keep them exactly where they want to be. And it allows me, instead of fencing off a big large of a chunk of a common, to graze cattle where I want, just by technology. Proper game changer. So from transitioning to nature-friendly farming methods, we've seen our profit risen here at Esgairllaethdy, and that's various of reasons for that. So by cutting out the inputs, feed and pesticides, or reducing them rather, it makes a difference to the bottom line. My turnover might be less, but my leftover is more, and which is important. And using the natural resources we have on a farm, whether it's just various grass growth, tree canopies, shelter sort of thing, just using what we have here rather than going out to buy something off a shelf. And that is key moving forward and being more sustainable.